Everyone around you is scrolling, at the dinner table, in the elevator, in bed before sleep, and you just do not. Not because you forgot your phone, not because you're too busy. Just because something in you said no, a long time ago. Maybe you deleted the apps and never went back. Maybe you have accounts that you have not opened in years. Maybe you lurk sometimes, quietly, and then close it and feel strange afterward. People assume you're antisocial, or proud, or hiding something. But here's what they are missing. Avoiding social media is not about rejecting people. For many, it is the opposite. Before anything else, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not missing out, not in the way people imply. The pressure to be online is real, it is cultural, it is social, it is hard to explain without sounding defensive. But the choice to step back, it makes sense. It is not fear dressed as preference, it is not avoidance. It is a nervous system making a very reasonable decision. This environment does not feel safe, and that instinct deserves to be understood. Think about the last time you scrolled. Even just 20 minutes. By the end, you were not relaxed. You were agitated, vaguely unsettled, like something was off. Social media is constant emotional input at an impossible speed, outrage next to a recipe, a funeral next to a dance trend, a baby photo next to breaking news. The brain was not built for this, not at this volume. Most people adapt by going numb, by scrolling faster, by not fully feeling any of it. But some people cannot go numb. Their nervous system registers everything. So the only protection is distance, complete distance. That is not weakness. That is a system still working correctly. It is the brain saying, I know what is in there, and I know what it costs me. There is something social media asks of you that most people never name. It asks you to perform yourself, not just share. Perform. Curate the version of your life that holds attention. Make your opinions quotable. Make your grief photogenic. Make your joy legible in under 3 seconds. For people with a strong sense of self, that ask feels like a violation, not because they are private, but because they know the difference between who they are and who they would have to become online. Think about someone who thinks slowly, who arrives at opinions after days, not seconds. Social media rewards speed, confidence, volume, consistency of persona. And so the person who cannot be a brand quietly walks away. Not because they have nothing to say, because it does not fit the container. Here is a quiet cruelty social media does, without announcing itself. It turns your ordinary Tuesday into evidence you're falling behind. Someone your age just bought a house, someone just got promoted, someone just launched a business, and you're in the same room, same lunch, wondering what is wrong with you. Psychologists call this social comparison, measuring your worth against others. It is a deeply human instinct, but social media supercharges it, because what you see is not real life. It is 300 highlight reels. Every post is a best moment. Nobody posts the quiet Wednesday. Nobody posts the uncertainty. Nobody posts the season of nothing. But your brain does not know that. It compares their highlights to your raw footage. People who avoid social media figured this out, often earlier than most. The mirror it holds up is distorted, and they stopped looking into it. But here's where it gets interesting. Avoiding social media is not just about running from something. It is also about running towards something. And that distinction, almost nobody talks about it. There is a kind of person who needs their life to belong to them. Not secretly, not shamefully, just privately. They want to eat a meal without documenting it. They want to go somewhere beautiful and just be there. They want to fall in love without it becoming content. This is not narcissism in reverse. It is something closer to the opposite. It is refusing to let external validation define the value of an experience. When we perform an experience for an audience, the experience itself changes. We are no longer fully inside it. We are framing it. People offline describe their life as more vivid, more present, more theirs. The sunset does not need to be shared to be real. The friendship does not need a photo to be deep. That is not isolation, that is living in the first person, fully without the audience. Not every reason is philosophical. Some of it is just pain. Maybe you posted something once. The response was not what you expected. Maybe you were misread. Maybe you were mocked. Maybe you shared something real, and someone used it against you. Or maybe nothing dramatic happened. Maybe being visible just felt wrong, watched in a way that was not safe. This is emotional exposure avoidance, one of the most rational responses there is. The internet has a long memory. Communities can turn without warning. Context collapses constantly. Something said to one audience reaches another, and suddenly you're defending a version of yourself that you never meant to present. Stepping back is not cowardice, it is a boundary. One the nervous system enforced before the person had words for it. This relationship with social media shifts over time. In your early 20s, avoiding it feels like a stance, like opting out of something everyone else bought into. There is quiet pride in it sometimes, and sometimes quiet loneliness. By your 30s, the calculus changes. It is no longer a statement. It is self-knowledge. You know what it does to your mood, what it costs you in focus, what it costs you in peace. The behavior stays the same. The reason underneath it deepens. And somewhere in that shift, it stops being about social media. It becomes about the life you want to protect, the presence you want to bring to the people actually in the room. At its deepest level, this is regulation, the mind protecting the conditions it needs to function. Silence is regulating, boredom is regulating. A walk without a phone is regulating a meal eaten without documenting it. Social media is the opposite of all of this. It is constant stimulation, ambient social pressure, other people's urgency in your nervous system. Stepping away is like closing a window in a very loud city. Not because the city is bad, but because you need to hear yourself think. People who step away find they are calmer, more focused, more connected to their own day. And once you have felt that, the noise starts to sound like noise, and the quiet starts to feel like home. So here you are, the person who does not post, who does not scroll, who exists largely offline. You have probably been asked why, more times than you can count, and the answer is always hard to explain. Because how do you explain that you just feel better this way, that your thoughts are clearer, that your relationships feel more real, that your life feels more like yours? You do not need to explain it. Choosing quiet in a loud world is not a character flaw. It is not fear. It is not superiority. It is not avoidance of connection. It is a person who knows what they need and chose to protect it. Quietly, without announcement. There is no version of that which needs fixing. There is no updated app for the kind of presence you already are. You are already fully here, and that is the whole point.